What's up, guys? Back on me is here today. I'm reviewing Smallville Season 1, Episode 9, Rogue. Okay, so I've got a new schedule that I'm doing. I'm just doing Smallville episodes from now on. I've decided to just do Smallville episodes from now on because I just don't want to do two shows at once. So, yeah. So this episode starts off with Clark at Lex's party in Metropolis, and Lana's also there, and yeah, and Lex he just wants Clark and Lana together. So he says it must slip my mind because he wants Clark and Lana together. So so Clark's like, what about winning? He's like, and Lex is like, you gotta keep your Lana close. Yeah, yeah, you gotta keep Lana close and Whitney closer. So yeah, and then one of his old Lex's old friends, Victoria, shows up, and Clark's like, how much do you have to keep her close? And yeah, so then there's this guy who's like saying to like one of this other guys that you gotta you gotta get the files. But he's like, are they for you? So are they're yours? So they're for you or something. Yeah, and then then like then Clark's just walking out, and then there's like this like bus driver who I think has a heart attack, and he's about to hit this like like this homeless person when Clark uses his powers to destroy the bus, and who's seeing but that reporter, that guy from just now. So yeah, we learned his name is Sam Phelan. Yeah, Phelan. So yeah. And Principal Quan is back in this episode. He has not been seen since episode 3. And he's like, hey, Chloe, actually, wait now. Yeah. Clark goes back to his family's house and goes back to the barn, and he's like, hey, I stopped. I stopped. And he's like, did no one see you? And he's like, okay, no one saw me. But now realizing that Mr. Phelan saw him. So Phelan, Sam Phelan, he asks a guy to give him some pictures, and one of them pictures is of Clark and Lex, and I officially named them Clex. Yeah. Oh yeah. So he goes to Clark's. Sorry. He goes to Clark's house, and he's like, hey Clark, why don't we work together? And he's like, he tries to drop a generator. He tries to drop a generator on Clark, but he's like, hey Clark. And he's like, my name's Sam Phelan, and I want you to work for me. But he's like, I would never work for you. And he's like, Clark, I could tell anyone about you. So yeah. So Clark does this one operation for him, but he turns the table on Phelan and just drops the safe on his car and calls the cops on him and says, here's your files, and leaves. And yeah. So while that's happening, Principal Quan is back in this episode. He has not been seen since Hawhead, as I said. And he's like, hey Chloe, you shouldn't be writing about. You should be writing about like normal stuff, not about these like meteor rock stuff. And he's like, people need to like see the truth about Smallville. And he's like, then you're fired. And then he suspends Torch until he finds a new editor. And yeah. So yeah, and then do what Sam Phelan does. Clark goes back to his house, and he's like, and like and then Sheriff Miller says, "Hey, we got a warrant to check your place," and he finds a dead body, and he's like, "I did not And yeah, Phelan planted a dead body to arrest Jonathan. So yeah, yeah, and he tells Clark, says, "Hey Clark, when you go into a plane, he shows up at the camp after Jonathan gets arrested. He shows up at the family farm at the barn. He's like at the house, and he's like, Clark, when you go in a plane, you don't go one step ahead, you go 10 steps ahead." And Clark, and he's like, you ruined my plan too, or something. And Clark says, get him out of there, get him out of prison, get his dad out of prison. And he's like, yeah, I didn't mention this. Yeah, I didn't mention the scene. I'll mention it where Jonathan did go talk to Phelan, and Phelan was like, "Hey, Jonathan, I could tell you a whole world about Clark and Clark." Yeah, I forgot to mention it, but now I'm mentioning it. Where he told Jonathan that he told the world about Clark, and he kind of blackmailed Jonathan. So yeah, and he's like, you got a temper just like your dad, and yeah. So Clark goes to see Jonathan, and he's like, Clark, you shouldn't have done that. Me and your mom can take care of ourselves. You shouldn't be helping for Phelan. Yeah, Phelan. And yeah, so Phelan's like, hey Clark, I need you for one more thing, and I need you for one more mission. So yeah, and Clark turns the table. So Phelan's like, hey, you're not bulletproof, and starts blow. Well, Clark double crosses Phelan again. Phelan blow gun to Clark, and Clark starts dodging, and yeah, and then one of the cops shoots Phelan, and Phelan's like, hey, Lex is like, what do you have on Clark? And he's like, and before Phelan dies, he tells Lex to go to the bad place, or HLL. So yeah, and while this is happening, Quan make Lana the new editor of the Torch, which had a big problem with Chloe, and and then Clark said to Chloe, just hear Lana, and then said, "Oh, Clark, you're all things. You're that he's all that the only thing he knows is Lana." And yeah, so but in the end, Lana defies Principal Quan and is able to get Chloe back her job. And Chloe says the only thing she'll write on is things that she can prove. So yeah, happy for all our characters. Yeah, and Jonathan got out of prison. But at the end of the episode, we see Lex, and he's looking on the security camera of when Clark stole the stole the armor for Phelan, and he looks, and all he sees is a blur, and that's basically the episode ends. Okay, so this episode was really good. I forgot to mention, I got a haircut just now for this review. I got my beard shaped for this review. So, yeah. I really like this episode. I'll be doing Shimmer right after this episode. I'll be doing season 1, episode 10 after this episode. Yeah. So yeah. Remember to yeah. Phelan, he made me mad. I dislike this guy. He's the first of Clark's villains to not have powers, unlike the human free meter freaks of the week. So yeah, I really did not like Phelan. Like, he was not the best guy. Like, if you think about it, Phelan, not the best guy. Phelan, not the best guy. He was not the best guy. He blackmailed Jonathan. He blackmailed Clark. And yeah, and he wouldn't even tell Lex what happened to him. So yeah, Lana, she had some things that she had something in this episode. So at least Chloe got her job back. Pete, he was in this episode, but he didn't have no speaking lines. Lex, he was in this episode. It seemed like he and Victoria, the girl that he are getting closer. And he also now wants to know even more about Clark. So, I hope you like, comment, subscribe the video, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next Smallville.